turn on the bell notification to all so that you do not miss any upload. Today's conversation is one for the books, and you're going to enjoy. I know a lot of my diaspora people will be interested in this conversation. Stay tuned. So I'll let my guests introduce themselves. I'm going to pass on the mic. You might not be able to hear me in the background because I'm not necessarily in this conversation. I'll pass on the mic to my guest and just stand by. Welcome, sir.
Welcome. Thank you very
It's already
much.
on.
Thank you very much. My name is Patrick Mwaba. I currently live in the United Kingdom.
And on this particular trip back to Zambia, how long have you been in the country?
And this is actually my third week. I'll be leaving tomorrow.
Just on the dot before you leave.
Yeah.
So for someone who would like to understand, when did you move to the UK and where?
I moved to the UK in 1991. I was studying at the time. Then, because we had the first multi-party elections, and CBU was closed indefinitely, my parents just said, "Why don't you study here?" And what should have been a 6-year holiday ended up to me staying there 30 years plus.
So after you moved to the UK, when was the first move back to Zambia? Whether it's a visit or was that
The,
frequent?
the first time I came back was in 2013.
2013. That's like how many years after?
I'm bad at maths. It was over 10 years,
So you
basically.
moved
Yeah,
back.
it was over 10
Was
years.
that just a visit or?
It's actually a funeral.
Okay.
Yeah, I lost 2 nephews in a very short space of time, so I had to come back and support my sister.
Okay.
Yeah.
And for someone to understand, you've come back like you're investing back home.
Yeah.
When did that idea come to, and when was your first investment?
I've had that idea for a very, very, very long time, but to actually implement it, I think it took over 15 years. You obviously have to start with a plan, and first investment I made was last year, and I've just made the second investment just last week.
What was the prompt? Like, what triggered your curiosity?
Um, well, in the UK, apart from other jobs that I've done, I've worked with property developers as well, so I understand property. And one of the things that really caught my eye is Airbnb. And then, because I've been booking every time I come, I stay in Airbnb, and I thought, well, why am I paying other people when I can build my own? And every time I come around, I can block out that space of time. So it means I'll have extra capital.
Most Africans, especially in the diaspora, have reservations about investing back home. Where do you think that comes from? Where is that reservation coming
It all has to do with trust, because mainly this is what happens. Even with, it doesn't matter whether it's family or friends, and I would actually say that family is worse, because what tends to happen is you might buy a plot, and you say, "Oh, my brother, my sister, every month I'll be sending you X amount of dollars or X amount of pounds. Can you build for me?" And now this is what happens. You're sending them the money. They'll go and take photos of somebody else's property that's being built. So you are over there working and thinking, you know what? Because I'm sending all this money, I can't afford to travel for the next 5 years. So you send all this money, thinking your house is being built. It's only when you come down, and you know where your plot is, to go there to just find nothing but maybe a foundation if you're lucky. And then when you're looking at your brother or sister who you're sending money to, they're living in a big mansion, and somehow they've even convinced your parents that they were doing their own work. So by the time you're complaining, they'll be like, "No, that's your sister or your brother's been working really hard. What are you talking about?" And it's not just in Zambia. It seems to be an African problem. I've got friends from Kenya, Ghana, Nigeria, Uganda. They all say the same thing.
So was that why you had to come on the ground for the first investment? Okay, just run us through how you went through your first.
All right. I first came across this place. They're called Emerald Hill. They're in Chamba Valley, Meanwood, if you like. Now, I was doing a lot of research on YouTube. It's a very wonderful resource, and I came across this Emerald Hill. And the other place I was looking at prior to that was Kingsland. But on that day I was leaving last year when I was here, my cousin actually happened to say to me, says, "Oh, you've been talking about wanting to invest in land. Our our sister is coming. Go together." So we went, viewed the properties, see what they were doing. And it's only when we were leaving, I was looking at the offices, I was thinking, that looks familiar. And it was one of the videos that I seen. And the beauty of it is that I don't have a headache in the sense that I'm not building. I don't have to do anything. They do everything for me. All I do is pay them. So for that reason, I've chosen to invest with these guys. Yes, I've bought some other plots, but those other plots, it would mean me either being on the ground or finding someone that I can really, really trust.
And the risk there
is high.
yes.
Yeah, but with what I'm doing right now, it's a gated community, and there'll be a storefront at the front and on the side as well. Security is provided, so for me that was an attraction. And right across the road, I think is the RNG Arena. So as a selling point for Airbnb, there's proximity for bar and restaurant.
Yes.
Then I think it's either way, whether you're going to Waterfall or to East Park Mall, it's about a 15-20 minute drive. So the selling points are there. But I think the most important one is the fact that it's in a gated community and the security there. Yeah.
So like I like the fact that you came on ground and decided to invest back home when you get into real estate. Is that only your only area of interest that you have? Or?
Oh no, that is all right. That for me, real estate for me is the money making machine. I'm doing that because I plan to retire in less than 10 years. But I don't want to end up in a situation where I'm retired, I've got this money, and I don't know what to do. So I'd rather start projects now. So by the time I'm retiring, money is already coming in. So that when it comes to my pension, as far as I'm concerned, that should just be my pocket money. I should not be. I do not want to rely on my pension.
And in recent days, the UK politics has been in the news. Do you have any view of what's going on in the UK? And especially blend it with some advice for Africans that are very hesitant moving back home or investing back home with whatever drama is.
And on top of it, for those that are eager to go away, I can do it all in one. All right. What has happened in the past few weeks, I could see it coming like 20 years ago, because the background of it is some of you guys may be aware of what is called the BNP, British National Party. They're literally right-wing racist party. They used to be allowed to speak at Speaker's Corner, but because they're so inflammatory, what the government did is to ban them from public speaking. Now that in itself was very dangerous, because it's like even here locally, if you suppress people and you don't give them guidelines to say, look, you can talk, but don't be inflammatory, you are literally putting a lid on an active volcano. Eventually, it's going to erupt, and it will literally erupt in a very, very bad way. So that's literally what has happened in the UK. All they were waiting for was an excuse for something to happen, and it just happened to be that at the same time, when the murder of the three young girls were perpetrated by a young black person, but the rumors and the misinformation was that it was a Muslim jihadist. So it gave people the excuse to go and riot and to start justifying that racist behavior. Those people that you saw, the right-wing guys, most of them are ignorant already. They're the ones that say things like, oh, you bloody foreigners, you come to our country to take our jobs. But then when you ask them, what are your qualifications? They'll tell you some things like, well, I never finished school. So, but the job I'm doing, I need a degree to do that job. So how is it that I've taken a job away from you? That's one. Number two, they won't work in McDonald's. They won't work, say, in a nightclub cleaning toilets. They will not work in offices, sweeping offices. But you find that the jobs I've mentioned are mainly filled with foreigners. So how can somebody say You're taking away their job when they don't want to actually do that kind of work. And then, in terms of my family that's in diaspora, many of you are probably aware the West is going down because now, so much so that where we've got BRICS and de-dollarization has started happening. But the money is here and it has always been here. And this is what I say, especially to my Zambian friends, even in Zambia who haven't traveled. I say to them, says, look, if there was, why are you so eager wanting to go away when the money is here? And they look at me like I'm crazy. And I said to them, so, all right, why is it right now? There's lots of brand new high-tech buildings coming up. That's number one. Number two, think of any race on the planet of the earth. They're in Zambia. Why? Why are they coming to Zambia if there was no money? If Zambia is so-called a poor country, right? That's all I've got to say about that. So as you can see, it works both ways. But for Zambians that want to go to the diaspora, my advice is this. Zambians love to party. If you're going to take that mentality over there and you have a minimum wage job, you will struggle to come back. And even if you do come back, you'll come back and you have nothing to show for it. So my advice is, especially if you're on a very low income job, is just work hard, save your money. Forget about partying. Even if you don't party for 5 years, it's not going to kill you. But if you save and build, you'll be in a much, much better space when you come back. And as well for my brothers and sisters in the diaspora, let's invest back home.
So would your advice be working through an institution like you are in terms of building?
Yeah, in terms of building, find a reputable institution that will do everything for you, because the people that will let you down the most will be your friends and more so your family.
Entitlement.
Yes, it's like you owe them. Yeah, a lot of you guys know what I'm talking about. You know?
It's a very well-known story. These are stories that we hear from people complaining around to say, I trusted my young brother.
Exactly.
I believe he did this to me. So
exactly.
I'm glad that you're from your experience. So, like, roughly, if someone is trying to get into like what sort of money should they have in terms of
all right. Okay. For instance, my investments are two semi-detached bedrooms, houses. They are less than $25,000 each, and that's them doing everything. Actually, call it, if I'm not mistaken, because I did a little formula to get to it, but that's a little secret. But however, you're looking at, realistically speaking, you're looking at $30,000. But that $30,000, if you're with the guys I'm with, you can stretch it over a 3-year period. Yeah. So that way, if like the guys I'm working with, once you get to 50%, you go into a payment plan. And if you pay within a year or two, it's 0% interest. 2 to 3 years is 5%. Then 3 years, which is the maximum term, you're only paying 6%. So you can imagine if you're paying 2,500 every month, but once you get to the 50% mark of the full cost, you're paying something ridiculous like $400 a month. So you've got
property.
You've got a property, plus you've got now you've got extra income that you can invest in another one.
Yes.
And if once your other one is completed, you can get it on Airbnb, which is, I believe, you're going to make more money that way. Or if you find a reputable foreign company that will pay you in pounds or dollars, that's guaranteed income. Because the one thing I'd say you should avoid renting to your local everyday guy. You're going to have problems with that. If you can find, say, maybe a government institution that will guarantee rent, and you get your rent for a year, you're fine.
All right. As we wind up, any last thoughts on anything as we wind our conversation?
No, last thoughts is I'm coming back. I'm coming back. If I can't do it within the next six months, definitely within a year, I'll be back, because I still have to look at my investments and put things into place.
You're very hands-on. I like that.
You've got to be. Thanks.
All right, bro. Thank you.